YouTube, y'all will be coming with Drake thinks Kendrick Lamar cheated, bro. So I'm assuming this is about the body and things that's going on with the lawsuit or whatever, bro. This whole beef, bro, has been drawn out to literally like to no end at this point. Because at this point, I don't know when this beef gonna end or if it's going to end. But I don't even think the beef is that serious. I don't know the things that was said about Drake and the things that was said about Kendrick, bro. But at the same time, bro, this shit really not that serious. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts and opinions on this beef. But let's go ahead and get to the video. Welcome new people, new subscribers. Ugh.
Drake thinks that Kendrick Lamar actually cheated during their beef. I'm sure you might have heard a thing or two about this particular topic because it's everywhere right now. I want to talk about this recent story involving Drake, Kendrick Lamar, and the biggest record label on the planet, UMG, a giant that both Kendrick Lamar and Drake are in bed with, which is why this entire story is so interesting. And there's a few angles that I want to talk about in regards to this. Before we get to that, let's break down what's actually going on. So Drake on November 25th, which was 2 days ago, initiated legal action against Universal Music Group, mostly recognized as UMG, and Spotify. Now the reasoning for that? Well, according to the lawsuit, which isn't technically a lawsuit, it's a pre-action petition which can lead to a lawsuit. Drake is accusing UMG and Spotify of artificially inflating the streaming numbers for Kendrick Lamar's diss track, Not Like Us, which as we all know was the highlight of the beef between Kendrick and Drake. This record alone overshadowed everything that happened in this feud, but not only that, it was one of the biggest moments in hip-hop history.
Bruh, genuinely and respectfully to Drake, bro, I just think the song was a good ass song, and a lot of people could dance to it. Even when I heard it, I'm like, damn, like even off the first listen, bro, you know it's a hit. Like I genuinely don't think it like nobody or anything came into that like at all. Maybe I'm trying to like artificial like people like fucking with it, and I wouldn't even understand why UMG would even go against Drake. That would been like, what would be the incentive? Y'all both sides of the UMGs. So what? Why would they? I don't know. This whole, I feel like this lawsuit wasn't thought through at all. I ain't gonna cap because it don't make sense. And then it looks worse if you lose this. If you lose that he didn't buy it, and you just did all this, and you still lost. Bro, I ain't gonna lie. It's gonna look terrible. It's gonna look absolutely insane
in the last few decades, which is very monumental. Not Like Us is one of the fastest growing rap songs in hip-hop history on top of that. Now Drake is now taking legal action, essentially because he believes that UMG and Spotify engaged in unethical practices to artificially boost the popularity of Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar. Now what does this mean? Well, according to Drake's legal team, they're alleging that bots were used to inflate the streaming numbers of the song, making it seem...
let's feed into the idea that this is true. Like, what does that prove? Like, yes, he botted the numbers. Like, I don't know. Like, like, and then this would feed into so many other things of, like, what else have they done? But why would I still don't understand why they would involve bots. Like, what does that do? I don't know. This
way more popular than it actually was. They're also claiming that undisclosed payments, essentially pay-for-play schemes, in other words, payola, were made to ensure the song dominated not only streaming platforms, but also traditional airplay like on radio stations. But it doesn't stop there. The petition...
Drake, you've been on every radio station multiple times, played over and over and over. I forgot what song it was, but nigga, I got tired of you over the radio. Nigga, I heard that bitch so much. I mean... It's Kendrick's turn. Like, I don't see, like if you have a hot song, they gonna replay that bitch. Bro, what was that song? I think it was God's Plan. They played that bitch so much. Like, every time you turn around, God's Plan. Like, I swear to God, I used to get tired of that shit. But, Drake, if you saying that, right, that means they did the same thing for you. Wouldn't that mean they did the same thing for you?
Also alleges that UMG cut a deal with Spotify, offering them 30% lower licensing fees for Not Like Us. In exchange, Spotify supposedly recommended the track to users searching for completely unrelated artists and songs. Basically, they're saying Spotify was pushing Kendrick's diss track into people's playlists, whether they were looking for it or not. And if that wasn't enough, UMG is also accused of using third-party companies to use bots to inflate the streams of Not Like Us even further. So according to this filing, Kendrick's song wasn't just breaking records. It might have had some fraudulent help along the way. On top of that, they also claim UMG paid influencers to boost the song on social media, which isn't illegal, and hired
Don't they do that? Don't wait. Don't they do that genuinely? This is like he said. This isn't illegal. Like, don't they pay influence anyway to react to songs, to react to albums? What the fuck? Okay, if they did this, this is just like a normal. Bro, I ain't no cap. This shit seem weak. This seems like a weak case.
Armies of bots to fraudulently spike the numbers, and that's of course illegal. In one particularly wild claim, Drake's team alleges that UMG went as far as paying Apple to have Siri, the voice assistant, purposely misdirect users to Kendrick's Not Like Us instead of Drake's album Certified Lover Boy.
Bro. bro. So you saying UMG paid Apple? Stop it, bro. Stop it, bro. Stop it. Is he dead ass? There's no way he's dead ass. Bro, you know how many times I ask for a song in my car and Siri be like, okay, we're playing Ooja Bop Jabba 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 Jabba. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Nigga, I asked for Friday Night Lights. Bro, what are you talking about? No, this is a weak case, y'all. I know Drake wanna win or his Drake fans wanna win, but nigga, this ain't the way. Like, especially off of this. Like, I can see if he had some proof. Like, you talk about what is, and why would Apple even accept that? Why would Apple even? Oh my God, there's so many other questions, bro. Like, and then, like, if this is true, right? Let's feed into it that if this is true, how many other people like would I doubt Kendrick is the first one, but I mean it's still gonna hurt Kendrick regardless if it is true. But I'm just saying, if it is true, Drake, you acting like you haven't did this, or I don't know. I feel like UMG would do the same thing for you. If you are bigger than Kendrick, why the hell would they just do that to take you down? I don't. It's making my head hurt because it logically doesn't make sense.
According to this filing, when users asked Siri to play Certified Lover Boy, the system instead played Not Like Us. Now, why?
Hey Siri, play Certified Lover Boy.
Now playing Certified Lover Boy by Drake on Spotify.
Nigga, stop capping. Nigga capping. Stop capping.
Why would UMG go all in on promoting Kendrick's song like this? Well, according to Drake's legal team, they think it comes down to money and internal politics. They claim that UMG and its division, Interscope, which is the record label Kendrick is signed to, have financial incentives tied to individual label performance rather than the overall success of Universal Music Group. Basically, they're saying executives at Interscope are motivated to push Kendrick's track because it helped their department and their own pockets more than anyone else's. The particular accusations aside for a second, this is a valid perspective because a record label that's as big as Universal is in a lot of ways disconnected from.
I'm sorry, y'all, but we're gonna have a conversation. So Drake, I don't know who you're signed to, right? But wouldn't you succeeding like feed the people pockets too? I don't like Drake is one of the biggest artists in the world, and I just can't see like the labels or executives not eating off him either. Like, you're, even though that y'all consider bosses, you're still an employee for somebody else. I'm just
from the big picture because each individual label imprint within the label themselves consists of different teams, different A&Rs, different marketing departments, artists, producers, managers, etc. So things can in a lot of ways become very individualistic the more you analyze it. Now, as far as what I said earlier, Drake's team says UMG was also trying to give Kendrick's entire catalog a boost by making the song go viral, all to maximize profits for Interscope. Apparently Drake, who's signed to Republic Records through UMG, tried to resolve the situation with UMG directly, but they had no interest in taking responsibility. Instead, they allegedly tried to cover their tracks by firing employees who were seen as being loyal to Drake. Drake's attorneys are also saying that UMG actively deflected blame, pointing fingers at Kendrick and insisting that Drake should sue Kendrick instead of them. And UMG actually told Drake that they'd sue Kendrick themselves if Drake ended up filing that lawsuit against them. The petition says that UMG...
Well, they said that only because, like, they don't know. Like, why would I take responsibility for what Kendrick did? We didn't do that. We did not do that. That's what Kendrick did. That's what Kendrick... Like, just because we gave Kendrick money, like, because he's a part of our label, doesn't mean that we gave him that money to use for bots. technically. Same way we gave you money, Drake. Whatever you do with that money, we didn't tell you to do with that money. You just did what you did with it.
G didn't rely on chance to make the song go big or even standard marketing practices to help Kendrick break through the noise on Spotify. Instead, Drake's team is calling this a full-blown scheme. A legend.
I don't know, my nigga. Like, Drake, what happened was you dropped, I think, was it Family Matters, my nigga? Was it Family Matters? Something. You dropped, I think it was that. Then Kendrick dropped Meet the Grams literally like 5 minutes after you. And that was a big culture shock. Like, nigga, that shook the world, man. Like, dropped 5 minutes after you. And then the next day, he drops this. And that's the need, bro. You didn't drop anything for maybe a couple days, maybe. And they come out with a hard part. I don't know, bro.
Racketeering, deceptive business practices, and false advertising.
He
And
might
like I
be
said
true,
earlier,
though. I
let's keep
don't
in
know.
mind that this isn't a lawsuit like a lot of people claim. What Drake's team is doing here is asking the court to order Spotify and UMG to preserve documents related to these claims before taking any further legal action. Think of it as step one in building a bigger case. Now, what's at stake for Drake here? Well, the petition claims he suffered economic harm because UMG saturated the market with Not Like Us at the expense of other artists like Drake himself. And UMG wasn't gonna stay silent on this one. A spokesperson for Universal Music Group responded to these claims, and let's just say they're not holding back. They told Business Insider, and I quote, "The suggestion that UMG would do anything to undermine any of its artists is offensive
Yeah, that's
and
what I'm
untrue.
saying. Why would they
No
just
amount
do
of
that?
contrived and absurd legal
And
arguments
what would be
in this
and what would
pre-act."
be the incentive for them? Like, why would we go against one of our artists that we signed to just boost another one of our artists? That don't make sense. That don't make sense. Like, literally, both of y'all eating and making diss tracks like to each other, and them being the biggest thing of this year, is what is helping UMG. So why would I don't, bro? This whole thing doesn't make sense to me.
Can mask the fact that fans choose the music they want to hear. In other words, they're completely
Exactly.
denying the accusations and saying that the success of Kendrick's track was purely fan-driven. No bots, no shady deals, just people choosing what they wanted to listen to. As for Kendrick and Drake, their teams haven't responded to requests for comment, and Spotify, they've declined to comment altogether, leaving this whole situation with more questions than answers. Now, this is major because if Drake's claims hold up, it doesn't just impact him. It could shake up the entire music industry. Streaming numbers and chart positions are a massive part of how success is measured today. If platforms like Spotify and labels like UMG are manipulating the system, it raises the question about how authentic those numbers really are. That's one aspect of it, but an even bigger aspect, which I think is more important to emphasize, is what is Drake actually trying to accomplish here? I think the agenda of this move should be questioned because Drake isn't going to do anything that doesn't benefit himself, and the same goes for Kendrick, obviously. Personally, this is what I have to say. I don't think Kendrick would ever allow anyone to put him in a position where his success becomes artificial or dependent on shady tactics. And I don't want to make this about Kendrick's character because I don't really know the man personally. But say what you want about him. Kendrick has built his entire career on authenticity. A move like this, if it's true, would completely go against everything he's represented as an artist. I mean, imagine Kendrick Lamar, of all artists, allowing people to engage in fraud activities on his behalf and risking his entire...
And, bruh, I ain't gonna lie. The Kendrick, this is gonna be if this is true, it's gonna be a huge hit for you, my nigga. I ain't gonna lie. Niggas gonna look at you like a little crazy. But is that gonna change the song to me? Fuck no, that song good as shit. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I don't play it all the time. I don't play it. Shit, I don't play it no more. Not gonna lie, but it's a good song.
Entire brand. You ask me, I don't see that as a reality at all. However, and this is another thing, I do see moves being made to push Not Like Us that fall into a gray area between marketing and outright fraud without Kendrick or his internal team's knowledge. Let's put it like this. Both Drake and Kendrick benefit from what we call the machine. And the machine essentially just being the music industry, but particularly all the people, the corporations, and all the moving parts that are set in place in order for artists like Drake and Kendrick to keep on thriving, because they're not doing all this by themselves. We know that. For that machine to keep running, it has to do what it does. But where does the fuel come from? A lot of times it comes from places that aren't directly authentic. Sometimes, figuratively speaking, it's stolen, or at least it comes from a questionable source. Now, is that right there fraud? Well, That's not necessarily what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about what happens when you're operating the level these guys are operating at. Because like I said, they're not doing any of this by themselves. They have entire departments on top of departments on top of divisions working their records, promoting their catalogs behind the scenes. And this is because the stakes are massive. And the moves that a lot of times get made on the behalf of these artists can get messy. I say that to say this, right? As fans, we have to take a step back and analyze this very carefully. Instead of getting too emotionally invested in the drama of these people that we don't really know, we should be asking, why is the music industry the way that it is? And let's really think about it, right? Why is one of the biggest artists in the world, who happens to be beefing with another one of the biggest artists in the world, now claiming that the numbers behind the song weren't even real? The most likely answer, if you ask me, is because the person taking the action, Drake, is trying to control the narrative. But the plot has already been lost, right? Because the guy lost the beef. But here's the thing, you're thinking too much in the moment. You're forgetting the bigger picture. Fast forward 10 years from this point when the headlines read, Drake and Kendrick Lamar beefed 10 years ago from this date. By then, 5-year-old Timmy, who's 15 years old a decade from now, is going to look up information about this iconic beef between two of the biggest rappers on the planet, and the first thing he's going to find, or one of the first few things he's going to find, is this story right here. Now, that's a masterclass on how you control the narrative. I'm not saying that Drake is entirely lying, because I don't really know. None of us actually know the truth. That's why it's pointless to get too invested into what this actually means, right? We can discuss it, but let's not get too invested into it. What I'm saying is Drake is being very tactful, because that's the kind of guy he is. Whatever he's doing, he's smart enough to know that he's playing the long game. And whether the streams from Not Like Us...
But if he lose this shit, it's gonna look terrible. I can't even lie, bro. If he, like, he's taking, like, to not have enough evidence to like, I wouldn't do this unless I have, I could present you with evidence right there and there. Because if you don't, bro, it's over. It's over.
Or inflated or not. It's about attaching a certain narrative to the story in itself. Things in the music industry are always about perception anyway. Society in general, with social media being our main source for news, runs on perception. And I say that to say this, I don't think this is going to continue further than this. I could, of course, be wrong, but unless there's tangible proof that these accusations are real, that implicates the people who are being pointed at, like Kendrick and UMG, it can't really go forward from here. Now, did Kendrick cheat the game? That's the question being asked here. And honestly, it's an accusation that hasn't been proven right or wrong. If you ask me for my personal opinion, I'd say that Not Like Us was a fan-driven, culturally impactful record. Thanks. For that reason, I'm going to go ahead and make up my mind and say that this is all, at least on Kendrick's side, exactly what it looks like. The result of an artist delivering a record that hit home for millions of people. I don't see Kendrick knowingly participating in
the flow, the cadence, the wah, come on, bruh. Everything about the song was tough. Can't lie, bro. Like, didn't the music video come out, bro? It's just tough. He mentioned Future, he mentioned Lil Baby. He's talking about your culture, but it was a response. Everybody just liked it, bro. You got cooked. I'm sorry to tell you.
Any shady practices to boost the song. His track record as an artist
can't win them all, buddy.
I have no reason to doubt him. But then again, there's so much that we don't know. The music industry is a complex machine, if you will. And the reality is a lot happens behind the scenes that never makes it to the surface. Right. Deals are made, strings are pulled, and decisions are executed without the artist's knowledge. So while I don't believe Kendrick himself cheated the game, it's not impossible that the machine around him might have done things to maximize the song's reach. And that's where the lines start to blur. And this brings us to the bigger picture. At its core, this situation isn't just about Drake and Kendrick. It's a reflection of the music industry as a whole. The power dynamics, the strategies, and the ethics that go into creating and promoting hits. Whether you're Team Drake or Team Kendrick, one thing's clear for sure. This story raises important questions about how much of what we see as success in the industry is real and how much is manufactured. At the end of the day, it's really hard to know what's real and what's fake because there's always an agenda at play. Stories like this always remind me of one thing as someone who's been doing this for a very long time, which is to always question the narratives that we're being fed and to look deeper at how the industry really operates. Whether it's Drake trying to actually control the narrative or UMG just doing what big labels do best. This is more than just about a lawsuit that's about to happen or a beef between two rappers. It's a window into the mechanics of how modern music gets promoted. Anyway, if you made it this far, do me a favor and like this video. And if you've never been here before, my name is Blackie Speaks. Nice to meet you. Subscribe if you're new here. Honestly, I'm very curious what you have to say about this particular topic because this is
I think the nigga's capping, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. When you put all chips on the table, it just doesn't make sense. Like no matter what, like no matter how you trying to look at it, flip it this way, flip it this way, it don't make sense. No matter how you look at it. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts and opinions down below. I love y'all. Stay safe. And please let me know what y'all think. And let me know if y'all think either Drake is tripping or Kendrick cheated. See y'all next video. And stay safe. And I love y'all. We out. Ugh.